Surprise! Hit those lights.
Andy, the good news is that
I sit down somewhere.
actually the bad news is that you've got to spend the rest of this evening being the center of attention. The good news is that if you only knew what we had planned beforehand. Where's Lou Abrams? Is he here? Yeah. Lou Abrams saved you from that, so you won't have that. So what we're going to do is we know how disappointed you are not having a 10-year anniversary. We know how disappointed you were in not having something for your birthday.
No, I didn't want a birthday party.
So we decided we combine everything. And so this evening is a team building exercise. And it's dedicated to you as somebody that we all look up to as our leader. And we thought what better way to team build than to celebrate a special occasion with our leader tonight.
Happy birthday! Yeah. What do you want to drink? You want something to drink?
Wow, that's really overwhelmed.
Now, Andy, one of the things that
Really overwhelmed.
Andy, one of the things we want to start out with is that where is Michelle? Is he here?
Here.
There he is.
Not here.
You sing us a song?
Periodically throughout the night, you're going to have to endure people standing up and giving little anecdotes about your life and what's going on. And I guess one of the first things we'll start out with is to say that one of the things we had planned was to have and we do have a poster for you signed by all the employees in the company.
Wow.
And on it says,
What a great secret.
it says congratulations, 3,751 years of taste. We add up all the years everyone's worked at all the properties and put it on a poster, and everyone has signed it. And Michelle's got an interesting story about where that poster is right now.
It's flying. It's flying.
Oh, God.
Monday morning I was on the phone with Toby June trying to figure out where it was. And then finally departed the States when Wednesday, Thursday night, arriving in Marseille, arriving in Mirador, so everybody signed at Mirador on Thursday. Then on Friday we couldn't send it DHL because it takes 2 days in Europe. It doesn't work like here. So I had a brilliant idea to put that poster onto a plane from Geneva, have somebody dispatch that thing right to Geneva down here, arriving at the plane 1900 on Friday, pick it up, have it signed over the weekend, bring it over. Switzerland is not part of the EEC. The goddamn package ended up in the custom. They're closed for the weekend. Monday morning, I was at the airport at 7:30 trying to get that thing. Couldn't make it. So it's in the plane. We'll have it tomorrow.
It's very friendly.
So you have like 200 signatures on that thing from all the departments. Alright.
Fantastic. Danny, how come you didn't tell me anything?
Surprise.
This was my principal in high school. Was he mean?
I stood in the last spot.
Ask everyone to just pause for a second in prayer.
Known Andy now since the mid-1960s, I guess. And the first time I came across Andy, he was working for the marketing division that reported to me. And the marketing division was an unusual group. Everybody else was pretty sober and serious, hardworking. But the marketing group was kind of a scam group. And I found very shortly after taking on the job that they were creative people. And Andy was one of the most creative. And I knew that because when I examined his expense account, there were more than 21 meals. But it was that creativity, that imagination that we all valued. And we now see that Andy was able to go from expense accounts to a major operation. And thanks to you, Andy. Thank you.
On the creativity side, Lou had a policy, which was that AMA program directors, no matter what their background, were not supposed to speak. We were supposed to go out and guest speakers for all of the sessions. You were only supposed to be there as a coordinator. Well, he said that marketing division was very creative. And part of that creativity one time consisted of one of our fellow program directors in the marketing division discovered on Friday he did not have any speakers for the following Tuesday and Wednesday in Chicago, but he did know that Andy and I were going to be in Chicago. So we proceeded to be, do you remember this? Be the speakers on the program. That program rated on a scale of 0 being poor, 21 being excellent, rated a 19 and a half, but we couldn't hand in the evaluation forms because he would see them. There are some other stories I could tell about my fun with Andy, but we'll just leave it right at that.
While you're ahead.
Andy recruited me into this industry 21 years ago. I called him 26 times for the job, and he felt that in order to avoid the message buildup, it's probably easier to hire me. And many of you, of course, have known him for much longer. But many years ago, we would travel together. I don't know how many of you in the room have traveled with Andy, but I tend to bring a suitcase and, whatever I need. Generally 1 or 2 bags, maybe an attaché case. And we would be in Houston and flying different places, and Andy would show up at the airport with his brown briefcase and a tiny bag. And then for the next 5 days, he'd have a different tie, suit, jacket, and shoes on. Now, I know I am larger than Andy in many ways, but I never could figure out how he carried 1/10 of the luggage. So I thought it was appropriate to maybe show you, those of you who weren't with him at the time, the Dulce luggage for the 1990s. You'll notice it's in navy blue or black. This is the 1-week version. This holds 3 suits, 3 shirts, 3 ties, 2 pairs of athletic shoes, the most recent brand, of course. Many of you have seen the leggings, the spandex leggings with the red stripe, 1 pair of those, 1 shirt, and then, of course, the newest leather book to make notes in, which never reappears. This is for 1 week. Now, the company has become an international company, so there's the European 3-week, 3-week Andy Dulce suitcase. This holds actually everything that the 1 week holds, plus 3 additional suits, 3 pairs of shoes, and the newest dictionary which says, I think Yugoslavia is an excellent place to develop conferences. As I flew into the airport this morning, I noticed there was a significant untapped demand. This is Czechoslovakia? Yes, that's what I meant. The demand here is good. One last comment. That is that I have my own firm, and I always felt Andy really didn't want me in the company because when he would see me, he would say, how you doing? How you feeling? I'd say, great, Andy, I lost 10 pounds. And he would say, you look kind of fat. and Andy has always looked great. We would go to meetings, and I would really feel like a schlepper. So those of you who are in the firm, I just want to advise you for your career path, I would recommend that if he ever catches you reading information not related to the company, that the men read Men's Health, A Firm Flat Belly is this month's. This will help your career path greatly. For those of you who are women in the company, I also recommend that you read Men's Health. And the title, of course, this is, of course, Show Your Strength. The last comment I'm going to make is a serious one. I have enormous respect for this guy. I make my living telling people how to persevere. And in my life, the greatest example of perseverance was Andy Dulce buying Lakeway and getting financed. I watched innumerable trips to capital markets, innumerable presentations to lenders. I was part of a number of them. throughout what seemed to be a year and multiple night flights between Austin and New York, and Austin and New York, and Austin and New York. I'm sure Camille remembers, and Houston and New York. Andy would come back and he'd go, I think this really looks good. And we'd get up for the big game and make a presentation, and it would vaporize. And never once did Andy say, this isn't going to work, I'm disappointed in this. He would say, we need to work through this, we need to keep at it. And that's a lesson in my life that I think is very valuable, the lesson of perseverance, and Andy certainly exemplified it. So, happy birthday, Andy. It's a pleasure to see you.
I'd like to first suggest we toast the person who made all this possible tonight, and that's Andy's mother. And you make very good wine. And of course, Andy, my friend, our friend, my partner. We want to celebrate this evening with you. We thought about an appropriate gift, and unfortunately all those many, many, many different types of carpeting that you love so much, they just simply wouldn't fit into my car. Andy's secret desire to become an interior decorator. Whenever we have our meetings at Hamilton Park, it's constantly one color after another, one carpet selection after another. The guy is unbelievable. He just keeps changing and changing the center. But it must be working. It's, the center's never been better. I think I'd like to propose a toast to Andy. Andy, many good years ahead. I know you've got at least 20, 30 more. For a guy that's only 49. My hero. Your continued health and success. Best wishes to you and your family.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Of All Hallows High School. He had the ability to master the academic program, and he was a good student with a wonderful personality and a fantastic smile. So success was a sure thing for Andrew. The roots of a successful life and career often begin with high school in the Bronx. And for Andrew, no matter how high the branches reach, the roots remain essential. Some of the friends he made in high school are his best friends even today. In the yearbook, the year he graduated, he had his picture taken as a member of the varsity football team and also with the varsity baseball team. Now as a successful businessman, he comes back to All Hallows to help some of our seniors to get into college, especially if they're going to major in business management. Andrew's one of the benefactors of the school, because all our benefactors realize, as do all the brothers, that education of the poor is the only real solution to poverty, hunger, and ignorance. Every morning in the chapel at All Hallows, the brothers offer their prayers at Mass and Holy Communion for all the alumni, living and dead, of All Hallows. Andrew, I wish you good health, success, and God's blessing to you.
Well said. Boy, this guy's resting secure, isn't he?
We left Tarrytown on the pretext that we were going to have a team building experience, and I said, okay, so we proceeded over the Tappan Zee Bridge, and I said, this is a long way to go for a team building, and Dan was driving, and we ended up, we started down the Garden State Parkway, and I said, if we're going to Valentino's, you know, we can do that any time. And we passed Valentino's, which is a restaurant up the street. And then I said to Jeff, if we're going to Park Ridge, you better get your resume together. This is very uncreative. Jeff was supposed to put this thing together.
Where is
As we arrived down here, and I says, heading to the office, and I said there was 5 of us in the van, all good friends, and worked together. I said, we're going to the office, and you're all fired. This is not my idea for a team building kind of experience. And as we drove up, and and I saw the number of cars and didn't recognize any of the cars, but as I came in here and saw the sign for 10-year anniversary, I said, okay, well, that's okay, because I told everybody that I did not want to have a birthday party. I did not want to have a birthday party. I just wanted it to pass. They didn't listen.
This is
Well, I know. But as I came in the door, I was really overwhelmed to see the faces, if you would, of people that I've known so many years, from my old friends, my family, my mother and my family, and people that are close to me in business, and then to see Tom Weitzel and his wife, and Bob and his wife, and then the brothers here. It just hit me that this was people that I've worked with over the years, like Lou Abrams and my close friend Bill Boyer. It just became an overwhelming situation that was hard for me to envision that whoever pulled this off, you really did well, because I had no idea.
Way to go, Dano.
But I hope that, you know, whatever number of years I can continue, that I continue to surround myself with wonderful family and friends and business associates, because you all have had a lot of great moments in my life, and that's what I seem to cherish and enjoy most. So I hope, you know, some of you guys will like hear. Here's to the next 20 years. Cheers.
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 We're reading. Don't cry, don't cry.
Andy, this is just something from all your friends. Turn around. Certificate, just a certificate to Minnesango Golf Club. Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Actually, we actually dummied it up, so wait till you get the check. That's what we're doing. They were closed today, so
Don't go in with that.
Just put down D100, you don't have to write
this way you can get what you need. But anyway, this is the card. I'll have to read Joanne's writing here. All right. Dear Andy, happy birthday. That is on the card. Happy birthday. It's easy.
Rudy, move your head.
We wish you a very happy 60th and congratulate you on the successful business and this important 10-year milestone. The outstanding accomplishments you have achieved in business while maintaining and valuing your family and long-time friendships are reflective of the qualities that we are also proud of. We all send our love and best wishes for continued success and friendship for another 60 years. Happy birthday.
Want a big picture?
Let me give you the go ahead.
I don't know if you're going to get them all.
4 months ago. Matter of fact, I contacted Bob and he gave me some solution. They're doing great. They're doing great for that. Yeah, something a little
Get in there. Denise wants to get your shot.
All right, Denise.
Get in there. You kneel down.
This is my hand. Right here.
Okay. Take a knee. Take a knee.
Leaves me out. Anytime. Wait, let me set my glasses off.
Red lights on.
Hey, wait.
Red lights on.
It's recording.
Out, Denise, come on. Lighting. Zoom lens. No, it's not working, Denise.
You know, we tried to find as many people in Andy's dark past as we possibly could. And so Artie volunteered. He said he knew more secrets. He and Bob Gaddy knew more secrets about Andy than anybody else. There's only 3 other people that I know of who are worse than that, and those are his sons. And they offered to speak last. So Artie, talk now. Artie?
Well, you know, there was one thing that I was gifted with, I think, in my life, was a loud voice. So I know all hymns. And the other thing is picking a winner. So when we were 8 years old, which is 52 years, Andy has been my friend. Tough, choking. But he's been my friend for 52 years, and I know so many things about him. He's like my brother, you know. So I'm anyway, he's always been there whenever we were in any kind of trouble. Bailed everybody out. But anyhow, I met Andy when we were in the altar boys. We had just received our first Holy Communion. Get Brother Justin in here and Brother. And we see that I think I was 8. He had just been turning 8 because I'm a little older than him. and so we were in there, and I remember the first time we served Mass together, he was correcting me in my Latin. I had been in the altar boys like 3 years. I was a traditional altar boy when I was a little kid, but he was correcting me in my Latin, and I thought that hurt that he was right. But I think other than Marmee Dulcie, his mother, and Aunt Edith, I know Andy the longest. You know, we've been together 52 years. I don't want to start crying again, but
I'll go through 52 years.
I won't do the whole 52, but I'm going to tell everybody I introduced him to Camille.
Second year.
When he was, I introduced him to Camille.
Camille has
as you see now, it all bore great fruit. But his sons and his daughters, you know, who I also love. And the other story I want to tell you, Brother Curtin said that he was good when he was in high school. Andy, and he was on the football team and the baseball team. He was a real good ball player, you know. And I just want to relate this one story, which I've done a lot of times before, every time I got to talk about Andy. And that is that in 1950, I think it was about 50. Graduated. We graduated in 1952. He graduated in 1953. He's a year younger than me. 6 months younger than me. 9 months younger. And anyway, and while he was there in his senior year, he was playing football against this school, Mount St. Michael. Now, brother said that he was a good athlete and stuff like that, and he was always smiling. Well, he played against Mount St. Michael, and there was a guy, a player on Mount St. Michael that later went on to play for the Washington Redskins, a lineman, is by the name of Vinny Bermudo. I don't know if any of you know. Is he here? Vinny here? He's coming. He was from the neighborhood where All Hallows was on 161st Street, right around the Yankee Stadium. Anyway, Vinny was a crusher. He was a really good ball player, and it proved as he went on in life he became a professional football player. But Andy played nose up with him, and he did a really great job on him. He took him out every play, and but the thing is that Mr. Dulcie, Andy's father, may rest in peace, was at the game, and I came to the game late. So after the game, Andy said to me, "Was Artie here? Was Artie here? Did he see this?" I said, "Well, I saw a lot of it, and I got a report of it." But he said, you know, that Andy did a great job, and he did do a great job, and that's why I'm so friendly with him. He always does a good job. He always bails everybody out. But the real key to everything, from when he was a kid, a little kid, was his desire to help other people. That's why he is. That's why he's here where he is.
He introduced my parents. Or he presented.
Hey, baby, come on in, baby. Somebody better tell a joke. This is a happy day. Hey, Vince Lombardi. Let's hear your side. And here comes Vince Lombardi, too. Oh, wow. They're going to say for him. Vince said he was nothing.
Speakers, I'd like to thank everybody that contributed to the food, which was Hamilton Park, Terrytown, and GE with the cake. Is Karen here? Karen Anderson?
Karen?
Karen, there she is. Karen was a guy, the person that that said, "What are we doing?" You know,
We're still asking that question.
And Andrea is the person that did all the work.
Yay! No.
And Camille is the one that gave all the support. And in particular for tonight, as far as the activity, I want to thank anybody who was involved with supporting it, because there was so many people involved, you can't really thank them all, because you're always going to forget somebody. But there's two people that spend a lot of time. Are Mike and Bill here?
Michael!
Are they in the back? Michael, we really appreciate it. From the bottom of our heart, thanks a lot for making this so special.
Thank you.
All right. And now for the highlight of the evening. Yeah! Let's serve the holes. You know, I thought that Paul Dosey knew more dirty jokes than anybody else. And then at his first sales meeting, I said, I'm going to fix one of these sons, the new kid on the block. And I said, Paul, you've been dethroned. Danny came up and tell a few stories. We couldn't shut him off.
So I'll go quickly.
So guys, you're on.
All right. I often wondered how it would feel in your shoes. And it being a size 13. So all the times you were away, traveling, we missed you. Wondered where you were. How we spent the 5 of us a month. It was all worth it, looking around, seeing all your great friends. It was all worth it. Thank you.
Well said.
After he said that, I was going to say, Artie is the funniest person we know. And I would be hysterical for all of you, but Dad, I'm so proud of you. And as Chris said, everybody who's here and shares in such a good feeling about you. When I come to the office, it's such an up feeling. It's just such a nice pride that I hope that someday I have this many friends honoring me in some way like this. I love you.
Well, everyone that knows me,
Here we go.
everyone that knows me expects me to say a joke, so I've been sitting here thinking, what a mixed crowd this is. And there's no way I can tell a joke, so I came up with one. There are 3 Irish Christian brothers. We're gonna have a little levity right now. Everyone's a little nervous, and I'll tell a joke because everyone expects me to tell one. Most of you may have already heard this, but there's a golfer.
Can you do your opening for the group?
That won't happen now. My throat is sore. There's a golfer, and he's playing a country golf course with his wife. And at hole number 3, he lines up at the tee, and he shanks his shot right. He goes to play the ball, and there's a huge barn in the way. So his wife says to him, she says, I got a great idea. She goes, I'll open the front of the barn, I'll open the back of the barn, you'll have a clear path to the green. He goes, okay. So he lines up his shot. He hits the side of the barn, he hits his wife in the temple, and she dies. 5 years later, he's playing the same golf course, second wife. Hole number 3, he shanks his shot right. His second wife says, I've got a great idea. I'll open the front of the barn, I'll open the back of the barn, you'll have a clear path to the green. He says, I wouldn't do that. Last time that happened, I bogeyed this hole. To be honest, before we got here, I wasn't expected to say anything, or I didn't think I was going to say anything, so you can tell I'm a big ham, but I've never been more nervous in my life to have to say something about my father because there's so much I want to say. And the typical cliche that everyone will hear is, you know, who's your hero or who are you most proud of, and everyone says your father. But in my case, I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. And if you think of a young Italian kid growing up in the Bronx and becoming a butcher at Grand Union and being a captain in the Marine Corps and meeting all different people like Doug Sanders and Tommy Lasorda, I don't know how many times in my life I've been in conversations where I've said to someone, you know, my father knows that person, or I've been involved with some type of organization, or my father has been where that's been involved, and people are always amazed. And what's great thing about my father is it happens every day, and it's never stopped. And there'll be someone new he'll mention, or some type of new idea he has, or another organization he's president of. I never knew what the hell my father did. I figured he just met people. When I moved to Houston, Texas, I was a chubby Italian kid from New York. About this high, this wide, with an afro. And everyone there were wearing Ralph Lauren and polo shorts. So here I came in with my accent. And in Houston, a typical stereotype is, you're from New York, you must be in a gang, there's only the city. And then you say you're Italian, and then when they ask what your father does, you say he's in a hotel business. I never had more respect in my life. But the best thing I can say is you never cease to amaze me with all you've done and all you've accomplished, and I'm very proud of you, and you definitely are my hero.
You're wonderful. Wonderful.
Good luck who's ever following that one.
Tough act, Paul, you got a tough one.
Man, it's up to you, buddy. It's all up to you.
How do you top that? I'm not going to try it.
Don't try.
If you're wondering why I'm standing on this step, because this is the first time since 1984 I'm taller than Danny. I'm 6 years older than Danny, so I did know a little more about what my father did. So I had more of a, I guess, a comprehension of how much people respected him, and for years I kept hearing, that's all I guess that's all I'd ever hear, is how much respect people always had for him, and it always blew me away, but seeing everybody in this room together, I guess, is just kind of overwhelming me, and like my father said when he came in tonight, it's hard to even stand up when you see what kind of effect one person can have on people, and I think I can speak for all of us. We're just honored to be his children, and you know, doubly proud to be here tonight. Love you.
Well, living in Vermont, I was hoping to tell a barn story, but I just want to say, although I do live far away and don't see him often, he's in my heart every day. Both my parents, I'm proud.
One of the best grandfathers that any child could ever have.
I think we should end with one more joke.
Come on, Danny. Come on, Danny. One more joke.
Two guys can choose who tells the finishing joke. The finishing joke, we got to end on a high note.
Let me tell you one. It's so hot in here, the Unabomber has his hood down.
We would just like to thank everybody for coming tonight. We appreciate you all being here, and we hope to see you, like my father said, in the next 30 or 40 years. Here.
Yeah.
Okay, like when you were little kids.
Danny was the short one then. No.
Danny, you're gonna have to get in the back. You have to get.
Get on your knees, Danny.
How is it?
Okay, ready, dolphins?
Perfect.
One more, just in case. This flash. Hold on.